ambitions to, one, be relevant by still addressing the needs of our client base, which is really the urban poor women, no? Kaya nga pumapasok kami sa mga resettlement sites. So yun yung mga nakakaawa yung mga bagong lipat, bagong likas, maganda sana yung nalipatan nila, hindi na sila, sabihin natin, informal o squatter, naayos na yung kanilang tinitirhan, may kalsada, may drainage. Pero kung wala naman silang resources, no, mahihirapan din sila mag-survive. So, babalik sila, mag-squat na naman sila. So, isang pantulong namin ay pinupuntahan namin yung mga resettlement sites. Tapos, well, we offer them our program. And hopefully, we are part of the development of the resettlement sites. No? So, we're in Montalban, we're in the resettlement sites in Bulacan and parts of Rizal also.
Okay, last question. Any upcoming plans to further enhance your microfinancing products and how technology play in a part of this?
Okay. In the past, we have been offered already. In fact, Smart, they consider as a partner, and then there are other groups asking, like, for example, BPI or Banco BPI, to avail of their, well, mga technology approaches, no, either by way of the cell phone or making use of the ATM. During those years, that's medyo bago pa siya, bata pa yung gamit ng technology. So there was hesitation on our part. And during those times, for example, making use of the ATM, medyo mabigat din kasi magbabayad, may bayad yun yung key, may key, no? So magbabayad, bawat field office, halimbawa, o branch, sa ibang MFI tawag nila branch, sa amin tawag namin field office, will have a key, and you have to upload your data, you have to use the key. So, may bayad dyan, no? So, kung halimbawa 10 ang branch mo o field office mo, bawat isa niyan. So, it's additional cost. Yun ang ayaw namin, yung additional cost, kasi medyo ano. So, ngayon yata medyo bumababa na yun. That's one hurdle, no, na medyo hindi namin napatulan. Tapos yung pangalawa ay yung hurdle ng, kasi sa development work o sa microfinance, at least yung methodology na ginagamit namin, mahalaga sa amin yung face-to-face interaction. Okay? So, kung ang kaharap na lang is ATM, o ang kaharap na lang pawn shop, yung banko outlet, o kaharap, may mga mawawala. Of course, may advantage sa ilang mga kliyente namin kasi baka may malapit na outlet, hindi na sila mamamasahe, no? Yun din, kapalit din nung pagpapasa through the cellphone, hindi na rin mamamasahe. Pero may bayad pa rin sila doon sa, di ba, yung sa pupunta pa rin sila sa outlet, tapos yung outlet na yun, babawasan sila, magbabayad sila for remittance. So, may additional cost. And therefore, may plus minus. But for us, I think the bigger hurdle for us really is how do we still maintain the face-to-face interaction, making use of technology. But eventually, we have no other recourse. We have to face that. Eventually, we have to move into already a stage where we can make use of that, at the same time balance it by making more productive the center meeting. So, hindi na pag-uusapan yung, nanay, magkano pa ba yung inyong ganyan-ganyan? Hindi na, wala na yon, hindi na paniningil ang pag-uusapan. We will have more time to discuss, kasi ngayon, ambisyon namin, may health cadet kami bawat sentro. No? Are you familiar with the setup of the microfinance? So, may center, may mga officers kami, active yung mga officers namin. So, part of the set of officers would be a health cadet. So, the health cadet before the center meetings can take care of can have your vital signs, no? Tapos, pwede mag-training on, kasi karamihan naman ng sakit natin, lifestyle yan diet, no? So, ano yung mainam na pagkain, anong gagawin kapag may emergency, yung may na high blood, o na stroke, o na heart attack. So, yung ganon, ipapalit namin yung pagpunta sa ATM o yung paggamit ng technology, then we can use more time for the other services, what we call social performance, no? Social aspect of microfinance. So, those are our plans to intensify more the social programs in our operations. One, especially disaster relief, no, and disaster management, no, kasi hindi na yan mawawala, no, yung balaundoy na klase ng mga bagyo, no, so we have to prepare our members for that, and then also go into sumisikip na kasi ang sa microfinance ang daming pumapasok, probably because even international organizations would come in and provide the resources, no? And therefore it looks like parang very intense ang competition sa microfinance, which I think initially that might be the first interpretation, but I think that is a way of challenging the microfinance to move into areas that are high risks and very low ang service, no? And therefore, yun yung challenge. Pupunta ka sa mga lugar na hindi pa napupuntahan. So, the uncharted territories for microfinance, and I think there are still many areas that we can go into, no? So, you have the out-of-school youth. So, ngayon lang, pinag-uusapan sa baba ang aming MBA. Ano nang gagawin natin sa mga nanay natin na ayaw ng patulan ng mga insurance companies, no, beyond 65 years old, no, tumagal na sa programa, o paano na, hindi naman pwedeng tanggalin sa insurance na program namin. So at the same time, the viability of the insurance naman is a big question mark. So again, that's another challenge. How do we design products that would be sustainable, but at the same time addressing the needs of the elderly, the needs of the out-of-school youth, the needs of our people with disabilities. Okay? So, mas yan yung tinitingnan. So, aside from those who are challenged geographically, meaning yung mga nasa isla, meron kaming partner, yung Caritas Cebu, yung mga kasama namin, mga madre, talagang 100% collection yan. Pero isla-isla yan, bit nila kasi walang bangko dun sa lugar na yun, bit nila yung collection. So, but it's 100%. So, there are still a lot of our kababayan who would be very happy with our microfinance program, but we have to reach them, go to where they are. Another big challenge would of course be, aside from the geographic or the distance, would be security, peace and order, no? Ang dami rin nating mga lumads o mga kababayan sa kabundukan, no? Lalo na sa Mindanao, pero wala kami sa Mindanao, pero yung mga kaibigan nating microfinance na nagseserbisyo sa Mindanao, hindi rin, may mga natatanggap din kaming mga kwento na yung kanilang mga account officer o community officer ay naho-hostage mismo dun sa mga lugar na iyon. So, hindi rin ganun kadali, no? But those are the continuing challenge if we are really worth our salt. Kumbaga, kung ginagawa namin ang trabaho namin, dapat talaga yan ang mga pupuntahan namin. Now, for the rural banks, because in your list of questions, you're asking, how about the rural bank going into microfinance at kayo ay taga-arbap? MABS, oo. So, just to address that question, plus kasi we are helping a thrift bank in Tagaytay. So, just to share my experience there. One, we welcome the entry of rural banks and thrift banks into microfinance. Ang merkado naman, maraming segments, no? And, well, many of the rural banks probably are into in the hierarchy, yung medyo mataas-taas ng konti. Malapad pa o malawak pa yung larangan na yung mga talagang mahihirap, no? So, yun, the challenge for the banks is really to go to that level. Or ang isa rin maganda, that's why I'm sharing the experience, is the rural banks, they have the deposit taking function of well, that's Bangko Sentral. We do capital build up for NGOs, but of course iba yung kakayanan ng bangko na mag-deposit taking, and therefore that money can then be used wisely for providing capital to the small entrepreneurs or the micro entrepreneurs, no. So may papel ang rural bank. Tapos ang tingin ko kasi sa papel ng mga non-government organization, hindi ko alam yun sa iba, pero in my mind, ang challenge talaga namin from the informal sector or those in the fringes of the mainstream, no. The challenge is to move them to the mainstream, no? Ipasok sila sa formal system, no? Well, of course, there will be advantages and disadvantages, but for a society, for a developing country, a developing society, you need to mainstream them eventually, kasi that is okay. And then once you formalize them, that you can then collect taxes, you can use that for improving the country, the infrastructure, etc., etc. So, ang papel namin is not to create a parallel infrastructure or parallel economic system, no? Hindi naman yun ang papel namin eh. Ang papel namin is to help them start and then move them into the formal or the mainstream of society. Okay? So, again, the challenge really is how do you do the tying up? Each one has a role, and then how will each one play the role that they should be doing, contributing to the overall progress of our society. So, yun yung tingin ko sa papel ng rural bank, and the possibility of them tying up with NGOs who have been into this field for some time, and then identify saan kayo, saan kami, o paano tayo magtutulungan. So, mas ganun yung pagtingin ko.
Thank you, ma'am. That was your last question.
Okay.